Let's do a big old honking USC at Oregon preview. Talk about what needs to happen for either one of these teams to make the Big Ten championship and why USC is the biggest Michigan fan that you've ever heard about. What's up, kinfolk? It's RJ Young. I am not on a step mill. If this is your first time watching Adapt and Respond, thank you for joining us here. We talk college football year round. If you're into that, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, like this video, and answer the question in the comments below. Who's going to win this game, USC or Oregon? USC is on the road at Autzen, and that is historically a very tough place to play with Dan Lanning as head coach, and we'll get into that. But I want to start with big picture. Both Oregon and USC have a road to the college football playoff, but it very much runs over the other one. So USC needs to beat Oregon. Oregon needs to beat USC to keep these things as they are. There's a little bit more margin for error for Oregon because they're a one-loss team, none whatsoever for USC. But controlling your own destiny is really, really hard here because for Oregon, it's kind of simple in that you got to win out and you got to get Michigan to beat the Ohio State, right, to make the Big Ten championship game. But if you're 11-1, you're going to make the college football playoff. 10-2, you might make the college football playoff. USC, same difference. 10-2, probably going to make the college football playoff, but also need to beat Oregon, need to beat UCLA, and need Michigan to beat Ohio State. So I should correct myself and say both Oregon and USC are huge Michigan fans for Ohio State-Michigan week. And that should surprise no one, as Michigan can be in the way of a lot of things, notably Ohio State. So from there, what are we looking at? We're looking at an Oregon team that has done nothing but beat the dog crap out of USC basically since 2016. And it gets worse, but we'll get to the worst bit here in a little bit. Oregon has won three straight against SC. The last time the SC has beaten Oregon was 2016. That's damn near a decade ago. Another way of saying it, Lincoln Riley has never beaten Oregon or Dan Lanning. Oregon has also won the last two meetings in Eugene, dating back to 2011, USC's last win in Eugene. Oregon's also won 7 of the last 9 meetings between the two. And while USC has the overall series, it's been a new day, basically, since 2011 between these two. For USC, I can't stress this enough. Lincoln Riley's going to have to do something that he has not done at USC and used to kind of do at Oklahoma pretty regularly. It's beat a top 10 team. USC and Lincoln Riley have not beaten a top 10 team. But more importantly, USC has not beaten a top 10 opponent since 2019. So they've lost 6 straight against top 10 opponents, which is a wild fact considering Pete Carroll and those years and whatnot. And even the Clay Helton years, there was a couple of good ones, right? And we thought Lincoln Riley had a Heisman Trophy quarterback at USC. Never beat a top 10 team with that Heisman Trophy quarterback. Caleb Williams, who's having a better year, I would argue, with the Chicago Bears than Lincoln Riley, 7-3 versus 8-2, but it's the Bears, right? They beat a top 25 opponent in Iowa last week, 26-21 in LA, outscored the Hawkeyes 16-0 in the second half. No small feat, right? Both of their losses, though, have been on the road. First one at Illinois, second one at Notre Dame. Illinois, we thought they were good. They're not. Notre Dame, we are thinking that they're pretty good, right? Could make the college football playoff just by winning out. So on the road, they're 2-2. But again, 6-0 at home, and this is not at home. This is at one of the loudest places in college football. It's an offense that has been really good at putting up 38 points per game, but also moving the ball a ton, which is Lincoln Riley at his best, right? They're putting up 488.9 yards per game, and they got the number one total offense in the Big Ten. When you got teams like Indiana and Ohio State at the top, that's not too shabby. They are also the only FBS program who is throwing for 290-plus yards and rushed for 190-plus yards in each game this year. Before the Iowa game, it was 300 and 200, but Iowa and Phil Parker got a pretty good defense, and they make you slow down because they want to run the football. Jaden Mayav has been good. He's been good. 299 yards 299 total yards per game, 24 total TDs versus 6 picks. However, my man has made a habit of throwing interceptions here of late. He's thrown at least 1 interception 5 out of the last 6 games. Before that, he was borderline uninterceptable, which is a word that I definitely just made up. So which guy are we going to see? Are we going to see the guy that completes all the passes, or are we going to see the guy that throws them away? I think you're going to see both. I think a lot of this is going to be around Mekhi Lemon, who we'll talk about here in a bit, but also the rushing attack. Since Waymon Jordan got injured, they just haven't been the same sort of rushing team. They've been good, but not great. King Miller has been really their bell cow, right? 113 rush yards per game since week 7. Since Waymo went down, they go to 226 yards, or they were rushing for 226.5 yards per game. He was averaging 137 on the ground. King Miller's averaging 113. Mekhi Lemon, still one of the best wide receivers in the country. Don't know where I would rank him right now, because there's a couple of guys that I think are really good. Jeremiah Smith, Carnell Tate, Jeremy Bernard. We can keep going, I'm sure. But he would probably be in that top 10, that top 5 for certain. He's just been their guy. He reminds me a lot of what Lincoln Riley would do with Hollywood Brown, what we've seen him do with Jalen. I say Jalen Saunders. The slot guy who's always open, right? That they get out in routes, who is making those contested grabs against guys that are bigger than him. And Mekhi Lemon was a dude coming out of high school, and he continues to be one. 109 receiving yards per game, second in FBS. The defense hasn't been great, but it's really difficult to have a great defense with a Lincoln Riley offense. It's my one big negative criticism of Lincoln Riley's scheme. It is not friendly to a defense at all. They don't play complementary football. They play fast. They run up a bunch of yards, but they don't run up a bunch of clock. And they score a lot, which means that the defense is on the field a lot. And if the defense can't immediately take the ball away, they're going to stay on the field a lot. And if they take the ball away and just give it back to an offense that's going to go score at will, you're not doing them any service by giving them a breather and or just chewing up clock for the other team, right? You're giving the other team more opportunities with more time, more drives. Limit the number of drives the defense is going to play, like what Michigan does, like what Indiana does, like what Ohio State has done here in the last couple of years. And I think he got a better team, but Lincoln Riley would first have to change the offense, probably start with him changing up who calls the plays, and that's just not happened. But the defense has been playing well the last 3 games. They've held all 3 of their opponents 21 points or fewer. And they're allowing not a whole bunch of passing yards, but they are allowing too many rushing yards. They're allowing 201.8 rush yards per game over the last 4 games. And when you're playing teams where you know all they're going to do is run the football, a la Iowa, and you can't stop the run, that's a bad look for everybody involved. Absolutely horrible. But still, you might want to watch this game, and you might want to watch this game in person. And if you do, maybe you want to use SeatGeek to do that. SeatGeek, who is a presenting partner for Adapt and Respond this season, we hope for the rest of the season, right? But for this season, especially for this week, I think it's important to point out that they got a really good thing going on the app, where I've used it a couple of times. But for now, what I want you to see is that it's simple to use, right? I got the app open on my phone, and I'm going to go ahead, living in Tulsa, Oklahoma. I'm going to search USC Trojans football, right? Which I did on purpose to show you that it will give you the away tickets. But you can get in the door USC at Oregon, 1 ticket, right, for $142 in the SRO. You want section 36, a little bit more. But if you want good tickets, let's say the best seats, right, you can get seats that are row 4, 2, deluxe, $977 a pop. That's something that you would be interested in doing. I encourage you to take advantage of this offer from SeatGeek that is 10% off for the folks that watch this show and use the promo code ADAPT10. But if you download the app, it's already going to know, like, you use the link in the description or in the comments, pinned comment, and you download the app, it's going to automatically load up with that ADAPT10 code, and you're going to get 10% off. So that $977, 10% of that's already gone. So you're paying $100 less than you might have normally because you use the code. I've used SeatGeek just last week, or I should say 2 weeks ago, but the tickets were used last week. I bought tickets for my goddaughters and their mom to go see Billie Eilish here at the BOK. And I got to tell you, I'm glad I did this. I made a point of using the service to buy expensive tickets so that I could talk to you about it, doing this journalism thing, right? They didn't know, SeatGeek didn't know that I was going to use the service. And I made a point of not telling anybody because I wanted to be treated like a regular customer, like you would be. And in so doing, I bought my tickets. They were not cheap. And SeatGeek uses connects third-party sellers with buyers. So the tickets are supposed to arrive 24 hours, 48 hours in advance. 48 hours had come and gone. My tickets weren't there. Okay. 24 hours had come and gone. My tickets did not show up in email. Well, this is where the buyer's guarantee actually does work for SeatGeek. And one of the reasons I think that more than 70 million people have downloaded the app. I call SeatGeek and I get through. And the first person that I talked to says, we're gonna reach out to the seller and ask them if they can't expedite this process because we want you to get your tickets. And that was about 30 hours before. Come down, go sleep, wake up, no tickets, call again. And this is the day of the concert. Talk to a nice man named Raphael. He says, I see we're going to treat this as a priority. These tickets need to be used today. This concert is today. Let me reach out to the seller. They did that again. I got a call back, said, hey, look, in case this person does not reach back by this appointed time, we're going to get you better seats because the buyer's guarantee means something to us. We're going to make sure that you're taken care of, that you are not left without your tickets. Because at that point, it's not about the money. It's about give me the tickets so I can get to the concert. So they give this person time to send me my tickets. This person gets in right under the line, but I got my tickets and I'm able to give them to my goddaughters and to their mom. We're able to go to the concert and have a great time seeing an artist that they all love. And that was the gift I was able to give. Perhaps that's something you want to do around Thanksgiving. I know that this game is going to mean a lot to Oregon fans, might mean a lot to USC fans if they can come up with a win, right? So use SeatGeek, use the promo code, and let me know about it if you decide to do it. I'd be curious to find out how that goes for you. So what do we know about Oregon in this game? Well, we know that Oregon is really, really difficult to beat at home. Prior to Indiana coming in there and beating them by double digits, I would say it's Fortress. Nobody can do it in the Dan Lanning era, and yet they did. So now they're 19-1 the last 3 seasons. But they've also won 43 of the last 45 games at Eugene. It's just that hard to go in there and win. They'd won 4 straight games there since losing to Indiana. Defeated Minnesota just last week, 42-13, and that was wild because Gophers couldn't do anything. I mean, Oregon put up 500 yards offense. Gophers put up 200. It's just bad. Dante Moore has been playing outstanding. He won't be a Heisman finalist unless something changes, but 72.8% completion percentage, 237 yards per game, 21 total TDs, 5 INTs. He's been good. He's been really good. Went 27 of 30 for 306 against Minnesota. They've got a number of tailbacks that can get it done. I mean, you've got Noah Whittington, Jordan Davis, De'Ari Hill, all combining for 635 yards from scrimmage, 23 touchdowns this season. That's a monster number. Whittington leads them with 623 yards on the ground, but this is very much a running back by committee. But the strength of this running back room needs to be expressed. The way that I would express this is Tulane running back Mekhi Hughes was an All-American last year. He transferred to Oregon. He didn't get no snaps. He didn't get no carries. He went to Dan Lanning about 3 weeks into the season, said, yo, can I redshirt? Because that's how deep they are. That's how many dudes they got. They can afford to put an All-American on the shelf, which is wild. And they've been great in these weeks without Gary Bryant, without Evan Stewart, without DeCorian Moore. Will they get those guys back for this week? We'll find out. That could be pivotal. If you get DeCorian Moore back, you're going to be better. You get Gary Bryant back, you're going to get better. If this is the week that Evan Stewart can go, Sandy Wood, don't even know if he's that close. You have one of the most talented wide receiving cores in the country going at Dan Lynn's scoring secondary. But DeCorian Moore still leads them in receiving yards, 443, and he's missed the last 2 games with an injury. So there's that. Kenyon Sadiq, great tight end, has 6 receiving TDs, the most among Big Ten tight ends, and the defense has been really, really good. This is probably not going to be the year that I vote for Tosh Lapoy in the Broyles Award, but certainly seems that Dan Lanning's probably going to put him up and not Will Stein, although I think Will Stein is one of the best assistant coaches in all of college football. They're allowing just 11.5 points per game over the last 4 games. They've given up just 13.7 points per game this season. That's 3rd best in the Big Ten, 6th best scoring defense in the entire country because they run the ball, they play complementary defense, and that's the kind of ball that Dan Lanning wants to play. They don't allow a lot of big plays either, and that is USC's bread and butter. They've given up just 17 plays of 20 yards or more this season. It's going to take a really huge effort from Lincoln Riley and USC to beat this team. But if they do, they're going to change a lot of opinions about what they're capable of and who this team is. I'm not sure they can do it. Again, Oregon's 40-2 at home since 2019, and that defense is as good, if not better, than the USC offense, so strength on strength. And then if Oregon can run the football on that USC defense, and when you're giving up 201 yards a game to people that aren't Oregon, it's hard for me to say that I think USC can win this game. So I'm going to pick Oregon because too many things already are going right for them. For USC, you'd have to show me that you are a team that I've just not seen you be all year long.